Okay, so one of the things you can do with programs is use numerical methods to solve for answers to equations. And this is what the solver does in Excel. There's actually a lot of different methods to do this. You can take an entire math class on numerical methods. Newton's method, this is one of the most commonly used methods. And it works off of derivatives. So let's say you have some equation. So here's the equation for line x squared minus n equals 0. And in this case, let's go ahead and make that n 100 or something. Okay, so we have an equation x squared minus 100 equals 0. And we want to find what value of x this function goes to 0 at. So here's our function, x squared minus 100 equals 0. And we want to find this point. And we're going to, you know what the answer is, right? It's 10. So if you have x squared minus 100, then it's just going to be 10 squared minus 100 equals 0. But let's do a simple example, and then I'll do it for a more complex formula that would, maybe be a little bit more of a pain to find where this point is. Okay, so what Newton does, and Newton is one of the fathers of calculus, but he uses the slope of the line to try and make closer and closer and closer guesses to where this goes to 0. So if you look at the tangent of this thing, the tangent of the curve, so here's the slope, and remember the derivative, that's just the slope of a line, rise over run. So if you look at where the tangent comes in, that tangent is not going to overshoot where the line goes through 0. So it's always going to be over here to the right if you have this kind of concave thing going on. Okay, so what we have here is a right triangle where the hypotenuse of the triangle, that's the slope of the line. And you can see this angle here where if you look at the tangent of this angle, the tangent is going to be rise over run. So rise over run, that is, that's the slope. That's the derivative of it, okay? So the tangent of this thing is the derivative, and it is equal to rise. So in this case, that's going to be the value of that equation at some point. Let's call this x naught. So that's like our starting guess. If you have no idea where the answer is and you have to start somewhere, let's start right here. So we just plug that value of x into our equation and see where it ends up. So that's going to be the rise of it. And then down here on the base of the triangle, it's going to be this first guessing point, and then we're going to plug in another random value for x. It's not a random value, but the next value we plug in for x is going to be here. And the difference between these 2 points, that is the base of the triangle, right? So that's the slope. This is rise over run, which is described by tangent of the angle. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to rearrange this, and we're going to make an educated guess of what that next point to plug into our equation is going to be. Okay, so if you rearrange this, what we have is the next point that we're going to guess is going to be that original first guessing point minus the original equation divided by the derivative. Okay, so let me go ahead. I'm going to take this into Excel, and we're going to give it our first point, and then we're going to give it the next point and the next point, and it gets smaller and smaller and smaller until you zero in on where it crosses over, and then that is going to be the solution. So for x squared minus 100 equals 0, the solution ends up being x equals 10, where that happens. Okay, so let me go ahead. I'm going to use the snipping tool just so we can remember what this equation is and copy this over to Excel. We'll do it with this simple scenario first, and then for your lab, I want you to use some other equation. something that goes through 0, but maybe something that would be a little bit more difficult. And I'll do a couple of examples here. Okay, so edit copy, and I'm going to just kind of set up that table in Excel. Now they've taken it and they've simplified it a little bit here in the example. I'm actually going to just use this initial generic form of it here. So the new point is equal to the old point times the original equation over the derivative. Okay, so let's say here's our original equation, f sub x, and we have something like x squared minus 100. And so then the derivative of that, f prime sub x, in this case, it's just 2x, okay? So I'm going to start off with some guess. And for their scenario, they started guessing at 50. Let's just start at 50 just like they did, and we can make sure that we're working down the same thing. Okay, so our original guess for what x is going to be 50. And I'm going to actually, I'm going to make a couple of different columns here. Just a second. Center, might as well do this. Okay, so I'm going to say this is what my original equation is, and this is the line that I want to go to 0. Here's my derivative. And then for this one, I'm going to put in this equation right here. So I'm going to say x minus f sub x minus f prime sub x. So I'm going to say x minus f of x divided by f prime sub x. Okay, and that's going to give us our new data point. So when we start it again, our new data point is going to be from this. Okay, so I'm going to plug in this equation where for my x, I'm using this. So this is my x squared minus 100. And you can see we're nowhere near 0 to start off with, so that was a bad thing to guess. Here's our derivative. So this is going to be 2 times x. And then to find our new point where we're going to guess, so we're going to say equals x minus, so this is like the base of that triangle, right? This divided by this. Okay, so here's the base of our triangle. This is describing, let me just pull this up again. It's describing this first big triangle. So if we choose 50 here and we plug 50 into that equation, so the height here is 2400, and we say, oh wow, that's nowhere near 0. We're looking for this point over here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to jump and make a new guess. But we want like an appropriate jump. We don't want to overshoot it. We want to start getting just closer and closer to that point. And so the base here to our new point, so our new point is going to be 26. Okay, and we found this distance by using the slope, by using that angle. So tangent theta is equal to the derivative. It's equal to rise over run. It's the slope of that line. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull this down. And what we're going to do is see if that will give us 10. Okay, so I'm going to just pull all of this down and notice each one is updating. So our new points are being fed over here. Once you get the pattern going, it'll be there. And then eventually and we can just keep pulling this down and pulling it down, I guess. Okay, so eventually, and the answer to this is 10, right? So we can have 10 squared minus 100 equals 0. So if we're trying to figure out where this goes to 0, the answer is x equals 10. This is where it goes to 0. And once it gets there, it's going to just hang out there. So pretty cool. So, okay, so that's with a very simple example for x squared minus 100. Let's try it out for maybe a different scenario. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to copy this thing and let's do a different equation that might be a little bit trickier analytically to solve for where that 0 point is, okay? So Control C, Control V, and I'm going to go ahead and let's see, this I don't need to change this. So we're going to fill in some new equations over here. Okay, so instead of x squared, let's go ahead and do like an x cubed, right? Maybe 3 times x cubed, I don't know, minus 2 times x squared plus 25, I don't know. So this is going to be a little bit trickier with that x cubed to solve for where it goes through 0, okay? So now we have a different derivative, so 3 times 3, so now we have 9x squared, okay, minus 4x, so there's our derivative. And I'm going to fill these two equations in for our function and our derivative, and then we're going to walk through kind of the same thing and just play around with this, and then we can graph it out and see if it looks right. Okay, so I'm going to say equals 3 times x cubed minus 2 times x squared, just getting that equation in there again. It's really easy to mistype. The longer the equation is, the easier it's to mistype. So kind of take a gander at it before you go on. Okay, so here's the derivative. So now we have 9 times x squared minus 4 times x. Okay, make sure I got that one in there right. So now we have both of our functions in here, and we have the point minus f sub x, and we can go ahead and we can drag this down and see if we get something that goes through 0. And I haven't, now this one, wow, 33, 34, this is not, it requires you to have a good starting point. So I'm going to go ahead let's see, I thought that would copy it over. So I'm going to go ahead and start. Let's see, for some reason that did not copy over. Try it one more time. These ones, yeah, you have to kind of play around with your starting point, and then also make sure all your equations are in there. So this one is not converging. We've maybe overshot it. So let's go ahead and instead of 50, we'll try 5. Let's see. I'm going to try a little bit smaller here. There, okay. So if you start with the right guess, now it is converging. And what we can do is we can go ahead and we can plot this out, and we can actually see where this new function goes to 0, and we can check our answer. So I'm going to go ahead. So it looks like it's going to go through 0 around negative 1.83. So I'm going to make a column for x. And I'll go ahead and, I don't know, -3, -2.8. I'll just go ahead and make a range for our x that's kind of around that -1.83, and then we'll see if we converge or not. So there's our x, and here's our equation for x. So this is our 3 times x cubed, whoops, minus 2 times x squared plus 25. Okay, so if we go ahead and calculate what that function is over this range, and let's go ahead and graph this out. Nice, maybe just a nice scatter plot here. And we can make sure that it's looking like, yeah, -7 to 1. So between these 2 points, that's where it crosses 0, right? It goes from negative to positive. Insert scatter plot. I like the scatter plots. We'll make something that's okay. So if we look at where this function is crossing over, and it does look like it's very close to that 1.83. So maybe I change one of these guys just to look at it a little bit closer. -1 point, what did we say? 82777. And that's pretty close. Yeah, that's pretty close to 0. Okay, so this was just a random equation. So for your lab, I want you to make up your own equation. Okay, so you're going to have your function, your derivative, and then you'll have to maybe play around with that starting point. So if it doesn't converge and get you 0, that's what you do. You're going to play around with that starting point and then study. This is a neat little trick and a neat little application for derivatives. And this is a simple example. There's a lot of times where you really can't analytically solve for something, but numerical methods are often much more efficient at getting you a solution. And if you're writing like a computer code, sometimes a numerical method that applies to any kind of equation and anything, this is going to be the most efficient way to find your answer. It's a lot easier than analytically solving for it maybe. Okay, so hopefully that wasn't that wasn't too confusing.